Honorable Director General, our Ambassador, His Excellency Karunathilaka Amanugama, our two chairmen from the tourism sector, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed an honor and a privilege to be amongst you today, as I see a very distinguished gathering. Also, I would like to thank the Institute for hosting us today, as Sri Lanka has a very long diplomatic relationship with West Germany. We are participating in the ITB this year. It is actually our 47th year of participation. I think the ITB has gone on for about 49 years, and we have participated in 47 of those events. And the first ITB, I think there were only 5 countries, and Sri Lanka was one country that participated in the very first ITB. We are also seriously thinking about hosting the ITB in the foreseeable future. Cultural diplomacy is a very novel concept. It's a unique concept. And certainly, Sri Lanka and Germany has had a very long cultural exchange. And I would extend my argument that a cultural exchange would also go into cultural diplomacy as well. And indeed, before the diplomatic relationship, Germany has had a distinguished record, particularly in the literary field, in the sphere of Pali, which is the language of the Buddha, and Buddhist studies has been greatly enriched by the research of German scholars. Particularly Wilhelm Geiger, 1856 to 1919, was a pioneer in Sinhala philology. He made a monumental contribution to the better understanding of our history by translating the Mahavansa, which is one of our major chronicles in our culture. Written by him, translated into Pali into English. Geiger also translated into German 2 volumes of the Samyutta Nikaya, which is also a Buddhist philosophical text, and edited from 1921 to 1926 the scholarly German periodical Zeitschrift für Buddhismus. They were followed by a number of other German writers such as Karl Engel Neumann, Hermann Olden, Karl Stiftungseicher, George Grimm, and of course our Reverend, who Sri Lankans greatly respect, German Buddhist scholars, Nayana Tilaka and Nayani Poraka Theras. It has been in the German language that outstanding writers have made a large contribution to the spread of Buddhism in the West. No other language has made such a contribution to the spread of Buddhism in the Western world. The German mind of well-adapted scholarly research, high-quality research, probing deeply into the text of the Pali canon, producing exceptional translations of clarity, has been a hallmark of the Western mind and also the German philosophical approach to understanding the concept of Buddhism. In the 19th century, German philosophers, well credited for initially translating German into the Pali canon into German. The renowned German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, 1788 to 1860, in his voluminous book, The World as Will and Idea, in 1888, he translated that book. After that book, the concept of Buddhism was also in that book, especially the idea of will and the Buddhist concept of tanha, or craving. Therefore, I feel that German scholars, the ones I mentioned, contributed immensely to the spread of Buddhism in the West. Also, these are cultural exchanges that stand the test of time. And I have to mention to you particularly, after the diplomatic relationship was established in the 1950s, the Goethe Institute made a remarkable contribution to the idea of scholarly research and transmitting the German language and German culture into the Sri Lankan psyche. Therefore, in the context of cultural exchanges, the cultural aspect of cultural diplomacy was always there between the German people and the Sri Lankan people. Particularly before the idea of cultural diplomacy came into being, the two countries have exchanged healthy cultural relationships, and I feel that's always been a hallmark of the two people and the two races. Therefore, Germany has always maintained a close diplomatic relationship with Sri Lanka. I cannot explain that in rational terms because I always feel that the German governments, the German people have had a soft corner for Sri Lanka. I don't know why that is. In that context, despite the 30-year conflict that Sri Lanka has had, unlike some other Western countries, I don't like to mention them here, Germany has always stood by Sri Lanka. Therefore, I would like to place on record this relationship, and this relationship will only grow stronger because of so many aspects of the relationship, whether it's economic, cultural, historic, or Germany helping Sri Lanka in times of trouble. Therefore, I feel the aspect of cultural diplomacy has been sustained, most importantly by German scholars in the 18th and the 19th centuries who tried to understand Buddhism, because Buddha's philosophy of logical thinking, his idea of salvation by your own pursuits and by your own strengths has helped, I think, the Sri Lankan, the Buddhist cultural aspect to spread the word of the Buddha in the West. There were other scholars also, most importantly, the book The Light of Asia by Sir Edwin Arnold, the British scholar, but also the German scholars, like the ones I mentioned, greatly contributed towards the spread of Buddhism. So this itself, before the word cultural diplomacy was coined, it was happening earlier as well. So this is something that I think we must appreciate and respect, because today we are going to learn about sustainable tourism. I think our chairman will give a presentation on that. Even the word sustainable tourism, I think there are some roots to sustainability in Buddhism, because Buddha in his philosophy did not encourage wastage, he did not encourage destruction, he wanted to preserve life, he wanted the cycle of life to continue, he wanted a harmonious relationship between man and nature. So isn't that what sustainable tourism is all about? Sustainability is about that, about protecting the environment, about ecotourism, about protecting nature. So I feel that we have a lot to learn from ancient systems. The concept of Ayurveda, which is fast becoming popular in the West, originated in India. And we also have our own systems of Ayurveda in Sri Lanka, which I think German people are beginning to understand and appreciate. A holistic system of medicine, which was there perhaps 5,000, 6,000 years ago. And of course, science cannot prove these things because there is a limit to science. Even cures for Western ails or ails that afflict mankind like cancer have been proven to be curable in the holistic Ayurveda system. So therefore, I feel the cultural exchange between peoples have now been coined into cultural diplomacy. And that itself is very encouraging, because I feel that two races, two peoples must always interact and understand each other. Germany, of course, has a very strong scientific methodology, scientific research methods, a country that has produced amazing scholars, scientists to the world, has been a light to our world. And Sri Lanka, in a different dimension, in the Asia, has been a very strong cultural and also political power in the ancient world. So therefore, I feel it's very important that we understand each other. The cultural exchange, the cultural diplomacy will only sustain itself into the future. So thank you very much for coming here today. I hope you can understand Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka has an exceptionally bright future, a country that will surely reclaim itself in the sphere of Asia. I feel that Sri Lanka has much to offer, and I feel that Germany will definitely be a long-standing partner in this journey of ours. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity. I greatly appreciate your presence. And Sri Lanka is a population of only 20 million people, 1/4 the size of your population. But we can greatly learn from each other. And I hope that the German people, as they have learned from us, learn from the Buddhist language, and we can learn from you. So that is surely the cultural diplomacy that will happen in the future as well. Thank you very much.